podcast bonus special episode, a spoiler cast of Ghost of Tsushima. You guys have been asking for it, and we totally are doing this the day after the release of the game.
I finished it yesterday, which is the day after it came out.
Exactly, that's right. And we're just uploading this later to avoid spoilers. That's what we're doing right now. Not in any way are we uploading this on like the 6th of September because that's how long it took for one of us to finish it. No,
definitely not. Definitely not.
So yeah, we've both finally completed Ghost of Tsushima, rolled credits, seen everything. I got the platinum trophy. You're not a very platinum trophy kind of guy.
I'm not a platinum hunter.
But you finally rolled credits on it.
Yeah, I finally rolled credits on it. I will be going back because I feel there's plenty of room for DLC. I'm expecting DLC.
They announced the thing, didn't they? This wasn't DLC, story DLC, but they announced the, was it like Legends or something like that?
Oh yeah, Legends I'm really keen on.
That like ghost sort of fantastical thing and whatnot, where it's like in another realm, everything was all red.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Online cop.
That looks really good.
That's something you're going to play.
I'm expecting story DLC, but I am going to go and beat all the stuff that's in there. I still need to get the Khan armor.
Yeah.
I want to get the I just want to get everything opened up and see everything, and I will probably platinum it, not because I care to platinum it, but because I want to find out all those question marks. That's why I think I platinumed The Witcher doing that.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, as a guy, because you have to get all of the question marks, I think, off of the map. Most of them anyway, in order to get the platinum trophy, and all of those little side stories, all those little things, they are so very cool. Very nice world building. You get an idea of how the samurai are respected.
That's one of the reasons it took me so long to complete it. I'm not gonna lie.
Everybody knows how famously you get distracted by everything.
Yeah.
I knew you wasn't going to be able to finish this game quickly.
No.
I, however, didn't underestimate how I wouldn't be able to finish this game quickly.
I mean, in fairness, we both had things get in the way a bit. Like having a kid, I had a move that didn't go very smoothly.
Yeah.
But still, it's taken a while. It's taken a while.
But the game is done now, and we're here to do our spoiler cast. Everybody out there, so we can discuss. Thank you everybody for writing in as well. We've got a few people who've written in about it. Do you want to give your surface level impressions of the game first of all? How you felt about it? Did you enjoy it? How do you feel afterwards? Because you was very hyped about it before.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah. I will say, overall, I think I'll give it like I was going to say an 8. I feel like maybe 8.5 to a 9. Somewhere in there. It's let down for me by the story not being... I don't find the story very fulfilling. But I absolutely love... Like, the mainline story, I felt was about as good as quite a lot of the side quests.
Okay.
Or let's say the side missions, especially Yuna stuff. I found Yuna stuff really good fun. And, all the stuff... It's just basically... building up to fighting the Khan. I didn't find it super rewarding. In fact, I felt the best bit about the story was after you beat the Khan.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't even expecting for that to be a major part in it.
I didn't expect it until the end. And I did have a word with Yogo about it and what it meant. We can talk about it because it's a spoiler cast now. Yep. But the final deciding whether or not to kill your uncle.
Yes.
Big moment.
Huge. I was stuck on that screen for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was stuck on it for a while. And based on what, I don't know if you know this, based on what you do, you get a certain type of armor. So you got the red armor, right?
What do you mean?
What color armor did you get after that?
I was wearing white and blue cloth.
That's what you was wearing going into it, but you get rewarded an armor.
Oh.
When you beat that last one.
It was red.
Maybe you've forgotten what it was, but you get that or you get a black armor or maybe it's a white armor. One of those two, and that signifies what you've done.
Okay.
And people knew from the screenshot that I posted on Twitter, they were like, you chose that one, that you should have chosen the other one. I was like, what are you talking about, bro?
What did you do?
So I did I spared his life.
Yeah, me too.
We both spared it on one. So
but why did you spare his life?
I spared him because the option was either kill your uncle. Yeah, and
preserve his honor, basically.
Preserve his honor, and also no one he's the guy that's going to have to hunt you, so then you don't have to look over your shoulder every 5 minutes because he's not going to be looking after you. Or spare your uncle's life because he's your uncle, and look over your shoulder because you need to protect.
I mean, the Shogun and the Shogun. He said the Shogun's sending other samurai. They will hunt you. No matter. So no matter what, I think you're still getting hunted. For me, I was like. And he actually says it once you spare him. I was like, we're not doing the normal honor thing.
Yeah.
I went into it expecting to play it like a samurai. I ended up just going full ninja, at least the first time. I probably will go back and do everything the hard way.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't have to, frick his honor.
Yeah.
so I let him live.
I let him live purely because I was like, I'm killing people because I want to protect Tsushima.
Yeah.
Killing him doesn't protect Tsushima.
I also was like, Jin's not going to kill his family.
Exactly.
Pretty much everything he says, if you spare him, I was like, that was my reasoning. And then he says it, I'm like,
whew.
Yeah.
Diogo messaged me and he was like, you chose the wrong one. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, Jin is basically samurai Batman. Batman's not going to go kill his family for any reason. And
Jin doesn't kill.
No, we've said that many times.
He doesn't kill a single person in this game. Come on.
Exactly.
He's a good guy. Don't tell me what happens because I saved it a little bit before the end. I'm going to go back and do it. And then I think I'm going to play the whole thing in Kurosawa mode as a samurai.
Weird ass fly here. I think you got him. Anyway.
So I'm gonna go back and find what happens if I do that. Then I'm gonna go back and do the whole thing in Kurosawa mode.
Nice.
I'm also gonna make a video, totally as an aside, shameless plug. I did make a channel about this because I've enjoyed it a lot. I'm
Link
gonna
in the description. Eat, sleep, game, repeat. Go check it out.
There's not that many armor sets in it, so I think a top 5 is most of the armors. But I'm gonna do maybe the best 3 armors or when to use which. Like, Rob was like, oh, once you get the ghost armor, it's all you use, it's amazing. Agree until you're in a fight.
Yes.
Right? And then the game, I'm not sure how I feel about being able to change kit in the middle of a fight.
In the middle
but
of a fight.
I did that all the time.
Yeah. I was like, Gosaku's armor, is it the stagger ability and whatnot?
Gosaku's armor.
I'm staggering all these bitches.
Don't give away my video, man. But
Sorry.
I think it's the best one for... if you were going into any of the duels, you needed that. It was so much easier to break their guard, and that was the important bit of all the duels. How did you find fighting Uncle? What is his name? Shimura.
Yeah, Uncle Shimura. It was okay. It felt weird because I was like, I don't want to kill him. So why was I didn't find... It was a bit like, you know, when Abby was fighting Ellie in The Last of Us.
Oh, that was way worse. But
It was way worse. But I was like, I don't have the motivation to kill this person. So why are you making me do this? And when it got to the end and it was like, okay, a few slashes, which is stupid by the way, because I mean, if I cut you twice across the chest, it's not like, well, that's fine then, I can survive.
That is a samurai movie finishing blow. Yeah. He's freaking dead. Plus... Like, look, people survive egregious wounds at the time, but you just cut the dude all the way across the chest. There's no antibiotics. Like, that could be...
Bed rest.
I was genuinely...
being changed every day.
I was genuinely like, look, there's a lot of, like, dilemmas in this game. There's a lot of, like, realism. People are starving and being, like, kidnapped, and, like, Norio's brother. What happens to him's, like, hardcore. Like... He could just die from an infection if I spare him.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I do want to...
Maybe I spare his life. Maybe I kill him now and save him the pain.
Right?
Maybe. Got it. Wait. Oh, fuck you.
God damn it.
God damn it. Get
so yeah.
How did you play this game? Because I played it... there was one point where I changed the audio to English, but I actually played it all in Japanese with English subtitles.
I played it all in English with English subtitles.
Okay, with English subtitles. Yeah. I usually play with subtitles anyway, but I decided to play this in Japanese, and after the first couple missions, it just became great to me. Like, I liked the enthusiasm the voice actors.
That's how you should play every Japanese game and watch the anime.
The anime maybe not. The anime is,
definitely.
I'm still in the area that you should go for.
You saw that Yu-Gi-Oh.
That was bad. That was bad. They were trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger in that thing.
That's real as well. That was what was on the TV show. I'm not even joking.
Anyway, that's how I played it. It was very, very a lot of fun, and I loved the Japanese version of it as well. People told me that they couldn't play the Japanese version because it's very strange. This is a Western game with English mocap.
Yeah.
And then putting Japanese words over English.
Do you remember old school kung fu movie? It was like, you killed my father.
Yes, exactly.
But it's the opposite.
It's the opposite now, so it's very off-putting. Yeah. But I didn't find it too bad. When I was hearing them and I was reading the subtitles, I felt like it was okay. Very, very cool, very stylistic, especially when it comes to the standoffs, all the fights and stuff like that.
I hated standoffs by the end of it, by the way.
It was cool in the beginning, and then after every single one, it's like long shot, long shot,
hold triangle, which is something I'm gonna make sure I take all that off.
And then like look at the
That's
sword.
The duels.
Oh, the duels. The duels as well. I was like, look at the duels.
I didn't mind the duels so much because there weren't so many of them.
Yeah.
and it was like you were coming up to a big fight, right? Whoever you were fighting was a big deal. Although there are about 10 or 15 of them, but it takes a long time. The standoffs where you're like you both walk up, then there's a different shot and tells you to hold triangle, and then the guy goes huh. Yeah, god damn it.
So there was a couple of times, and this used to infuriate me, where it would put you in like a bush.
Yeah, I had that.
And I was like, I can't see the guy attacking me, and I had to guess.
And if you go early, you lose almost all of your health.
It's like all the way down to nothing. I'm like,
god damn it. And then... Also, the worst thing is you're like, that's the punishment for losing these things. No, if they get the first strike on you, it's almost nothing. But if you miss it, they frick you up.
Yeah.
Like, so you're better off just, if you can't see, you just let him hit you.
Yeah.
Like, because it does almost nothing. Unless you're on that super hardcore mega death mode.
Yeah, what's that like called? Realistic or whatever it is, ridiculous mode.
Not fun.
One slice of it.
Except, Corwin's playing it like that.
Corwin, he plays Doom on the most hardest difficulty as well, over and over again. Like, he finishes it. He's like me with Smallville, where he just gets to the end, starts again.
The quote unquote the final fight with the Khan.
Yes.
Because you mentioned Doom. I felt it was very similar to the final fight in Doom. Where you're fighting the tyrant thing.
Yeah.
Because there's all those other mobs that spawn in around you.
That's true, yeah.
But I found the Doom one far more entertaining.
That's a good point, actually. So let's talk about the Khan fight. Because it was fairly underwhelming at that point, right? He's like the people in between, like his generals and stuff, I felt like were more meaningful than he was.
I actually agree with you. Also, there were some really interesting things in the fight that were presented in the wrong way. So you start with this duel.
Yeah.
That then progresses onto another point and you duel him again.
Yeah.
And then he just becomes like a regular NPC.
Yes.
Just like a giant brute. And it was like, what if we'd have gone from duel to duel, and fought our way to each next phase. And then in that phase, he had like the spear and then the shield.
Yeah.
Like, what if we'd fought him down to being all of those different stances? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So what if...
That would have meant something, yeah?
We had him with the spear, right? And then he runs away, you cut the spear in half, then he runs away and now he's basically the sword guys, guys with two swords. So you have to fight him in the sword stance, right? Or maybe he picks up two swords. Then you fight him with the shield. Then you basically he picks up something, you fight him as a brute.
And then you have to switch between the stances and whatnot.
Right, exactly. Like... That would have made more sense to me because that is basically what you end up doing, but he's as the guy.
He's
as a mob.
Send multiple people with others that you have to use other stances.
It also bugged me that every arrow poisoned me. So irritating because I was using up all of my resolve, and I wanted to break his guard and do like a heavenly strike or something. But I had to save the resolve in case it got poisoned. Because of course I was going to get poisoned because there's all those archers and people... I'm sure someone's going to go shoot the archers. I'm being attacked by 15 different things.
What was extra stupid was, when you had... So I would try to protect my... you had that ghost meter thing on the bottom corner. You get a certain amount, you could activate it and everything turns black and red and stuff like that. Very cool. But... You had to kill a certain amount of people in a row to build that up.
Without taking any damage. Yeah.
And the people that used to shoot fire arrows used to knock that down even if you blocked them. So I had the block ability and I would block the flaming arrow and somehow that would still take away my bar. I was like, that's some bullshit. Yep. Why did I block it then? Anyway, I felt it was quite underwhelming as well. I felt like it wasn't as meaningful as all of the other generals, all of the other people that we've dueled with. Every other one was sort of like we'd get in that stance or we'd do like a massive thing. It did have multiple stages, which is what a final boss fight should have.
That was good.
But it didn't have multiple stages of duels. It wasn't like filled with conversation. Like, did you think you could actually wear down the House Shimura or whatever it was and whatnot? It's like none of that. It was just a bunch of people attacking you and then finally go and give a few slashes to him.
And the way it ends, like I would have done, how it ends and he's just like one of the other enemies, right? Didn't like that at all. I wouldn't have minded if he was like that in between, the 4 duels where you take him from the spear down to the double thing, then down to one on a shield, then he has to pick something up and you finally beat him, right? That would have been fine. I just didn't find it... I also didn't find it very impactful, meaningful. Like, talking to, the Khan... In Doom, when you face the Khan Maker, and then what's that, the Tyrant or whatever it's called, the giant thing afterwards.
Yeah, that massive thing. I can't call in, tell us in the comment section. Yeah.
Those were much more impactful. Despite, look, let's be honest. The story in Ghost of Tsushima, it's made for the story, right?
Yeah.
But then why why do I overall feel like the story in Doom was more? It drew me in more, you know?
Yeah.
It's got this weird thing. It was much more... Let me say this. It was more satisfying in Doom.
That ending
That's
especially,
what it is,
yeah.
So,
The rest of the story, how do you feel about the rest of the story? Like the acts and the whole Lord Shimmerer and stuff like that?
I actually dig it.
I dug it too, yeah.
I dig it a lot. I'm really frustrated that I couldn't go after Yuna. Like, I really wanted to have a tumble with Yuna. Like,
at one point she got a bit annoying.
She did, but also, like, why is this not a romance? The amount of time they've spent together,
true,
right? And like Jim is breaking away from the samurai at every stage. You know, he like, if at first he's a samurai, right, and has that very rigid honor structure, then starts realizing it's all about results and blah blah blah, and he's down to like steal things and assassinate people and all this stuff. Like, yeah, she's like a peasant or whatever. She's proved that it doesn't matter where you're born; it matters what you do and what you make of yourself. And also, plus her brother, also a peasant, incredible blacksmith.
Incredible blacksmith, yeah.
So like, it doesn't matter. Why doesn't? And the amount of time they spend together in these stressful situations, surviving and saving each other's lives and stuff.
Yeah.
Why don't they? Why isn't it at least an option for them to fall in love?
They should have hooked up somewhere.
Maybe I just used all the wrong options whenever I circle or square to decide stuff. Also, that's the thing with the dialogue options.
Yeah.
I would have preferred if it had gone. So the way Mass Effect does it is you've got Paragon and Renegade.
Yeah.
But it's made very obvious. The blue one is Paragon.
Yeah.
And the red one is Renegade. And the more you do of that thing, the more Renegade you become. Whatever.
Yeah.
The more Paragon you become. I would have preferred if it was like Samurai or Ghost.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. That would have been much better, and then it would have.
The words were very blurred. It didn't seem like where there was a clear right or wrong.
Right. Exactly. And for the most part with those dialogue options, like you said, it didn't feel like a dilemma. Like, you know, at the end, that's a great dilemma. Do you kill your uncle or not? Right?
Yeah.
Because there's good reasons to do both. One, he's your family. Two, he's your family, and if you let him live, he will be dishonoured.
Yeah.
And that's important to him.
Yeah.
And he's important to you. Right? These didn't feel like dilemmas. Like, either one was good enough. A lot of the time I was like, well, whatever, whatever, doesn't matter, you know. Same with a lot of the poems. I was just like, I'll just knock this one out. Doesn't matter.
The haikus. I was just
some of them were really good.
Yeah, I didn't feel
that
like
last
none
one
of them got me.
The last one, there's I think 3 that I really liked.
At Your Father's Grave, was it that one?
I did one at your Father's Grave.
Yeah.
The last one with Shimura. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
And then another one, maybe one about power or something. But those were. Whether I picked the right things or just lucked out that way, they were very like impactful poems. But that's like 3 out of 50.
Okay.
You know, and it wasn't. I did it because it got me the points, and I was ticking off a check mark.
Yeah.
A question mark. I didn't. Who honestly did you like really care about the things? I want to know in the comments.
I didn't. I got the platinum trophy for this, and I didn't care at all for any of them. I just did them because I needed to do them. That's just the way I function for that. That's the way I function when it comes to all this sort of like side content stuff. Anyway, and I didn't. The first one didn't grab me, so from then on out, it was just nothing.
Right.
But I did like everything else, like the pillars of honor and whatnot. Those was quite cool. All of the shrines, I did like all of the little parkour stuff to get up there. It was like a little puzzle how to figure out how to get up places.
I do wish the parkour was a little bit more involved.
No, this was better than any AC game ever. This was the best parkour system we've ever seen in any video game. Suck it, James.
Well, also, I think there's a reason you like it, because you can't. It's very difficult to accidentally just jump off a mountain.
What was that picture you sent me? It was an AC picture of a character. It's like,
hopefully
jump,
we'll put it up.
Jump, and then you jump and then you go completely off of the wall, and then just fucking throw your controller in it desynchronized.
Hopefully we'll remember to put that up. I got that off Reddit, which I don't spend that much time on, but every now and again.
Sometimes it's gold.
Yeah, I will say, like, I quite liked the parkour stuff, but I do wish there was more to it a little bit. It felt like there were only really 2 options: squeeze through stuff or go under things. Jump and he did all the work, or jump and make sure you hit R2, and if you don't, you fail. But I just wish there's a little bit more to it.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. It was pretty easy. It was pretty hard to fuck up. The only thing that was difficult was figuring out, not difficult, but like a bit challenging, was figuring out which way to go when you got up shrines. There was one of them that was like a level shrine, but you had to go over these big rocks, and it was like which way to get there was a bit confusing.
Yeah, I did one of those yesterday, where you get almost to the bridge and it's broken,
Yeah.
You can go to the left, and it takes you almost to where you look at him like, I think Jin could make this jump.
Surely.
But you can't, and you have to go all the way around, back down, around, climb some trees. But I'm like, fuck,
long way around it.
There were a couple that were like almost maze-like, where you can see the shrines up there, but to get through, you have to go through these little stone pathways and climb under something.
Yeah.
Those were quite good because they were, I don't know, they were fun. Okay, let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
There are no waypoints, technically.
Yes.
How did you feel about no waypoints, the map system, and using the wind?
Much cooler.
Masterstroke, innit? I absolutely love that.
Probably the best thing, and I reckon that this is going to influence a lot of games in the future.
I think you're right.
Any game where it fits, it's going to be the way to do it. Like there is battle passes now in games, like there are pinging systems and whatnot. This is going to be what it is in other games now.
I hope Fortnite brought in the ping, the battle pass.
Yeah.
Apex brought in that ping. My God, like we didn't know we needed it. It wasn't it wasn't a thing. I'm so glad that's in.
Mm-hmm.
That the wind, incredible. So much better.
Yeah.
Something about it it never broke immersion, not once. Perfect.
It was so good, so good. I enjoyed it, and also it helped that it affected the rest of the world as well, because there were some times where I couldn't tell because there wasn't enough wildlife, leaves and stuff around to show where the wind was flowing, so I had to flick up on the pad. But sometimes there was enough shrubbery and trees for me to just know, let's go that way. Okay,
I love
that. It was so subtle
that you didn't have to flick.
Yeah.
That you could just be like, okay, look, all the leaves are like telling me to go in this direction. And then look, if you do get lost, you do the thing. But for the most part, you can just go because this odd leaf is going that way and these birds are flying that way, whatever. It was so good. Such a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And the way this game looks.
Oh,
my God.
This game, when it came out, Twitter was flooded with GIFs, flooded with pictures, videos. Everyone's profile picture was Ghost of Tsushima. Stroke of genius on Sony's part. Did you know that Sony actually give extra money to the developers of their first party games so they could put a fully fledged, amazing photo mode into this thing?
I didn't know, but that's a great idea.
It comes back to them, right? Because then everybody sees everyone's playing Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, it must be amazing. Then they go buy a PlayStation, it cycles back around. Amazing strategy.
Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us, 2 games that obviously came out this year for current generation PS4.
Yeah.
They both look incredible. Just absolutely incredible. And the combat systems.
Oh, yeah.
So smooth. So intuitive. I will say, actually, I did have this one reoccurring problem in the duels.
Yeah.
Blocking and dodging.
Mm-hmm.
If you... The block seemed to be very slow for me a lot of the time.
Sometimes, yeah.
And there were a lot of things that, even blue things, that would not block. So, like, any sword thrust coming straight at you, he just couldn't... I could not block those ever.
Strange.
Like 1 in 5, I would duck under, but most of them it wouldn't. And maybe I was too slow on them, or what. But I really struggled with specifically those duels where someone was stabbing at you. Could not block them. Could not get hit by them.
There was some times where I don't know if it was I would fuck up the first block, but then the second and third one, because they used to do it in like 3 thrusts, where it was like. Psh, psh, psh. If I couldn't get the first one, there's no chance I got the second and third one. It was gone.
That's what was happening all the time to me.
Yeah, strange right there. What was he talking about just before we got to
how good looking it is?
Oh, how good looking it was. So this was the first game that in their photo mode they've done a like live moving photo video mode, and they put the music in there as well from Ghost of Tsushima that you could put on. Yeah. And I remember one of these shots where I pulled out from like a big, I think it was Gosaku's armor. You know where there's like the purple flowers. I was like zooming out and there was a beautiful sunset and I was wearing the armor that I just got and it was the Ghost of Tsushima. You know the intro. Oh
my God, have you seen the video of that chick going the wrong way? That put my blood pressure into triple figures. How? What are you doing? Why would you do that? What is wrong with you? Why would you do that? That must have been a bit. That had to be a bit, right?
The way she was like, because I've seen it and she was like, she goes all the way up to it. The first moment you get, she turns all the way around. She's like, oh, look, like a leaf or something like that. And I'm like, are you not listening to the whole music swelling around you?
And look what you just rode out into.
Oh my God.
Frustration.
Because when I first did it, I was like, I did it live on stream the very first hour or whatever it was, and I was playing along. I was like, oh, the music's swelling, guys. I was like, oh,
and you're going through the field of the white flowers.
I was like, goosebumps, guys.
And it's not like a flat white field. It's like rolling, and there's these weird, like, not weird, but, you know, like very Japanese wooden structures and like posts of stuff. And oh my god, so good.
And then Ghost of Tsushima appears on the side. You're like, this is amazing. And all of the videos that you see online in the photo mode, the animated photos and whatnot in the videos, all basically like that. And it's so well done. It's so great.
The whole game
hard drive full of it.
The whole game feels alive. The island feels alive.
Yes.
That's the thing that they really did. And a lot of games, like, I'm trying to think of another open world game that doesn't feel the way. Like, the God of War.
Yeah.
It feels like everywhere you're going, you're there because Kratos is there.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima, it feels like the island is alive and Jin is there.
He's around.
Yeah. And you could go anywhere without Jin, and the island's still like beautiful and meaningful and alive, and people are going about their own things. Whereas with God of War, it very much feels like if Kratos isn't there, there's no reason for you to go there, despite it being very good looking. Do you know what I mean?
The world is inhabitants is just the people that make the armor and the sword.
Yeah.
The big snake guy in the sky. Some angels and gods or whatever, and Kratos.
Plus whatever enemies spawn in for you to fight.
Exactly.
Right? Like, for the record, not for the record, for example, you know, there's a volcano that you can fight your way up.
Yes.
That's what that world feels like. Where it's a dead, dying thing, there's nothing there. Until you get to where you're going, you summon some enemies, and then you go through the next bit of, like, lifeless place until you summon more enemies.
Yeah.
Whereas with Ghost of Tsushima, it all feels alive.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that is about, but whatever it is, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Talking of things that are alive, some things aren't, and I'm cursed with always being able to clock what's gonna die.
Oh, yeah, you called this.
I did say, like, day 1 or 2, I'm like, I think they're gonna kill the horse. And it was like, what? And I was like, think about it. It's the only thing. It's the only thing Jin has shown any affection towards.
These motherfuckers made you pick it and name it, and they were like, "Hey, this is going to be a thing." And after every mission, the horse comes up to you and it's
nuzzles you and stuff.
And you're like, "Hey, little guy," and then you sleep on the horse as well.
Mate, when you wake up and the two of you have like slept, you're sleeping on it, it's so cute. And then they bastards, man.
What did you name your horse?
Kage Shadow, because I knew I was going to become a ninja.
I named mine Kage, the second one. Yeah. I was like, okay, that seems like a nice name, but the first one was Yobu. Nobu, that was it. Nobu.
Trust.
Was Nobu in something else? Nobu was the MHA villain thing that they called him, right? You know, that thing that they made genetically.
Nomu.
Okay.
Different things.
Maybe that was what I heard, and I was like, Nobu. I was like, I'm going to call him that. Come, Nobu.
Yeah. It's quite fun. I called my next one Kaze, which means wind. Okay. So I was like shadow and then wind. It happened that they sound very similar, but I was like, okay, I'm doing the shadow thing because I'm about to become a ninja, and I've kind of done it now. I'm a ninja, so what's the most like free flow kind of thing? Wind, cool. But it sucks that I clocked that.
The way that the horse died as well. God. When the shit went down, I was like, bruv, your horse is gonna get shot.
Now,
Ships, you're right. Why?
I felt worse there than Taka. I honestly didn't feel that much at Taka.
I felt for Taka. Go on,
I will say, I don't really consider it a spoiler because I wasn't super invested in the character to begin with. Also, I felt like he was a man baby in a sense. Like he's a super talented blacksmith, and Yuna's basically treating him like he's 12.
It's like he's a kid.
Yeah. But I'll say he got spoiled for me. It wasn't a big thing. I wasn't like, oh no, but it happens. I'm like, you're in the situation.
It's not the Joel died in The Last of Us and what.
Yeah, it's not that, not at all. So
I did feel something for it. Maybe because I didn't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But I did feel something for it, but at least I felt like he went the most honourable way, like most manly way he could.
Oh yeah,
like he finally stood up for himself and stood up for something bigger than him. The whole of like Ghost and stuff like that.
For sure.
But fucking Khan killed him in savage way. Like,
this guy's gotta die.
I was like, well, you dead. All right, well, I guess we're killing you.
It's funny because I had heard there's a decision to make at the end, and I beat the Khan, and it's like press triangle to stab. I'm like, am I supposed to not kill this guy? That's never happening.
That's not even a choice.
Yeah. But I just don't know. I don't know why we didn't get to like run away with Yuna, who I will say I haven't finished Sensei Ishikawa's quests.
Yeah.
But I did say to you early on, I suspect that she's the person he's after, but then a few times they're at the same place together. So
that was funny to me when you said it, because I didn't want to spoil anything. I know you was like, is Yuna gonna be the one that Sensei Ishikawa is talking about and has taught, because we haven't met her yet in the side quest. And I was like, interesting. No, but I didn't want to say that, so I was
because here's the thing: when you finally meet, I can't remember her name, his pupil.
Yeah,
she's wearing a mask and she disappears off a cliff.
Yeah,
right. And we're constantly told that she's like learned how to fight and all these things. And then Yuna knows how to fight. She specifically chooses a bow for a lot of it. Then when you find the bandits near the end, there are a bunch of bandits who use bow and arrow, and you're always hearing how she went back to her bandit ways. And
I see the parallels
like, drawing now. I wonder, because then why would she? She also says, watch your back with him. Why does she care if we get betrayed by this guy, and why won't she show us her face? Because Ishikawa knows what she looks like. So I don't know. I was just like, okay. So I doubt that will obviously turn out to be true, because it then occurred to me they've been at multiple camps together. What the frick?
Wait a minute! I taught you, and you turned your back on me.
I've been looking for you.
I love. What did I say to you? Actually, I sent you a text message to say like how helpful I would be in this thing. So let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, go for
it. Here we go. Like you asked me what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
And I was like YouTube. Anytime we could really do with some help, or have a problem, I will stay silent and give you no clues.
You did say I cracked up at that.
Oh man,
that was very funny.
Anyway, How did you find taking over like bandit camps and stuff like that? Was that satisfying to you?
The big Mongol things?
Yeah. Like the big fortress areas.
I found that I ended up just tick listing it.
So yeah, there's the optional stuff on the side, as well as the like you have to do things when you get into a new camp and whatnot. I was like, I need to do this. Okay. No.
Yeah, or like it would be kill this thing without being seen, as an example, and I would get seen and it was a bonus thing, and I'm like, no, it was like kill 3 hawks without being seen, and I would like reset, because I was like just list grinding it.
You needed to do that.
Yeah, because that's how I wanted to do those things, and it's like it doesn't even really matter. You don't get much extra for doing it. It's not a lot.
Especially after you've got all of your stances.
Once you've got all your stances, once you've got all your stances, once you've got all your like most of your stuff up, once you've got your sword and shank upgraded, and the 2 armors that you end up using for the most time fully upgraded, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I'm still there trying to kill the eagles or whatever, and I'm just like, or trying to get 3 longbow kills, like that kind of bugged me. But I did find it very satisfying when you check the map and it goes and like opens up a lot of that fog.
Yeah,
that was cool. I wish they had been more selective with what got the animation when you come back. So like very early on in the game, anywhere you defeat, you get animations of people coming back.
Yes,
and then that kind of goes away, but then it comes back for like the random big camps and then this random small camp. I don't know. I wish it had been more impactful for us, and I wish we'd seen. Early on, there's somebody that Jin knows, and he tells him to grab their family and go to this other place, and then you get to that temple and he's there.
Yeah.
Stops you outside. I can't remember who it is. Or I wish we'd seen more of that from the NPCs. I wish we'd gone somewhere like, oh, thanks for doing whatever, and it's a central hub that you come back to, and then in Act 2, you do something, and when you come back, there's people moving and re-establishing trade and stuff.
Yeah.
I wish that had been more of a thing.
Yeah. Wish it had been as well. That would have shown a bit more depth to it.
But I mean, that's just going a little bit further towards showing that it's a working, living island, right? But it's not a complaint. It's just that I wish it had been better in this one way. Yeah. But
I did like those bandit camps or the Mongol camps and stuff like that. I found that it was After a while, maybe it's because I was doing the platinum and I ended up doing the reason why I was doing it was just so I can get that platinum trophy. There were some times where I was like, okay, I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna do the things they say. I'm gonna observe the main
the
general and whatnot. Observe him, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do 3 headshots with a bow, and then I'm gonna do this without being detected. After a while, I was like, I don't give 2 shits, and I got all of my upgrades done, so I could have my ghost stance in 4 kills, and I could block everything, and my resolve went up a lot higher, so I had my special moves that I could use. And I would do the 3 strokes where you're like shoom, shoom, shoom.
Is it the Heavenly Strike? No, the Dance of Wrath.
Dance of Wrath, that's it. And I would be like, I can take all of these guys out. I can take out 12 guys using all of my resolve and my ghost stance.
Plus the ghost things, you throw a kunai or smoke bomb,
exactly,
and start assassinating people.
Exactly.
That's one thing I had a problem
Chain
with.
assassination as well.
I had a problem with. I would drop a smoke bomb and then go to assassinate someone or chain assassinate them, and then attack them with the sword instead. It wouldn't.
Happened as well to me. It would give you the prompt, and I was like, "Why did you let me do the prompt?"
I want to chain assassinate these 3 guys. I want the resolve. I want the health bonuses. I want all that stuff. Plus to get rid of these 2 brutes. Frick,
isn't it? I was like, I can assassinate this big brute guy rather than having to change stance and fucking kick him all the time.
That bugged the heck out of me. I will say as well, like, because there aren't that many armors, and you end up only using a few anyway. Once you've got the amount of iron that you need and all that stuff, there's no reason to continue collecting it. But the only way to get it in the first place is to collect it at these places. So it feels weird. And also there's this little like kind of hack where like I didn't really care about the bows. So I didn't bother upgrading any of the stuff at the trapper with them or that stuff. It just wasn't
with the like extra. You can have an extra arrow in your quiver, or you can have extra kunais. No,
right?
I don't care.
Yeah, don't care. I'm barely using these things anyway. When I do remember, it's just a smoke bomb for the health.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
It just you can. I had all this bamboo and just sold it all for supplies. So it wasn't really hard to get the supplies. Like it was. I don't know. It was weird.
Speaking of picking up resources, the best way to pick up resources, it was very, very quick and intuitive.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you remember I used to say about the Days Gone, which Dave Bindus, by the way, played Days Gone. Apparently he loved it. Great.
Good.
Glad you enjoyed that, bro. He just wrote credits on it. In Days Gone, picking up resources is a bit of a chore. Like, if you needed to get a silencer... Especially before the patch, and they fucking did it. It was like, go up to a thing, hold the... Yeah, exactly. Press the button, kind of go close, hold the button, make sure it filled up the circle, lifts it up, he digs inside, digs around a little bit, puts it in there. If you had to do that every single time you wanted to pick up bamboo, or pick up a predator hide...
If he has to get off his suit, off his horse, pull out his knife, cut the bamboo, take the leaves off, fold it up, put it in his back, get back on the horse. Yeah.
I love that you could just ride by it, one button, one button, one button.
A lot of that was very intuitive.
Great stuff. I hope more games take from that because that was a very, very good way to do it.
Also, they packed out the L2 and R2. You know, if you hold them, the menus come up.
Yeah,
they packed that out, and I didn't often find it getting confusing.
No, it was strange, right? It was like so.
Very intuitive.
There was a lot there, but very intuitive, very well done. It was very, very cool. Yeah. What else was there to talk about? So we talked about combat, we talked about the story. Did you find, I mean, like you said, the armors and whatnot.
Yeah.
After a while, you do just pick 2 armors and then
I was pretty much
between those
just about always running either the Ghost armor or Gosaku's armor.
Exactly the same. Those were my 2 as well. I wonder what everyone else said and whatnot.
But I didn't care for I haven't touched archery. I have the points. I've got like 6 points loaded up, and everything else is bought, and I can't be asked to put it in the archer because I'm not using it.
How about the charms? How many charms did you use?
Bears.
Really?
Yeah. I was finding myself constantly switching a lot of those. The lesser ones, I ended up just using the ones for defense. You know, either major reduction of damage or major increase in damage. But the other ones, I was switching. I always kept one. Amaterasu. I think it's one where when you kill an enemy, you gain a portion of your health.
Okay.
Kept that one forever, but I was often switching out for like additional stealth damage or switching one on so when you're not in combat, your health regenerates. I actually made a video. I think it's one of the most powerful charms in the game because you do not need to use resolve between fights, or you can do a stealth bomb, run away, wait like 10 seconds.
Then come back.
Without having to use up your resolve. It's super powerful.
It's very powerful.
And then there was a few ones where, like, you know, you stagger an enemy and then they couldn't do an interrupting attack or something, which I don't know how useful that was, but I put it on a few times. And one that made parries and blocks easier to perform, stuff like that. Yeah, so I was switching them out a fair amount.
I didn't switch them out at all. So I got a couple at the beginning, and one of them was like increased melee damage or whatever. And I think there was one that was like more focus or whatever it was. And I put those on.
Focus for the arrow stuff.
I can't remember if it was focus, but it was something. And I saw it and I was like, that's good enough. And then when I filled up 5, I just never touched it again. You came over one time and you was like, oh, this one about the stealth one where you can regenerate health. And I put that on, never touched another one again. Because I didn't. There was too many of them.
I feel like they don't make or break the game.
They don't.
Like you can have the worst combo on there.
I mean, I platinumed the game and I didn't even bother changing it.
It doesn't make a difference, really. I mean, it will make a difference. It's worth having the best combo on there.
Definitely.
But if you had none on, you wouldn't really notice.
Yeah.
Like, once you get the good armor and you've upgraded your health anyway, and your resolve from the sword strikes and stuff, you know all the moves.
Yeah.
It's not like
I felt
major.
like I was just the only reason. Like they were a byproduct of me going to the shrines. I went to the shrines so I could get those checked off.
See those gorgeous shots. Oh my god, so pretty.
Who's the guy that's like that inaccessible rock up there? Building a shrine, that's where I'm going with it.
Every time.
And a massive tree coming out the side of it as well.
I was going to say... So, like, one of the armors is Yurikawa's cursed bow. That's one of the things. And then you get Tadayori's armor, his archer armor. Some people did the archery a lot. And I feel like I watched some of Ethan's streams and he did it a lot. But I think that's because he's a big Horizon fan. Yes, and Aloy's an archer.
Yeah.
But for me... I hardly use that. In fact, the times when I did use it, I used it 2 times. To cheese enemies, so I'd use explosive shots to cheese like a lot of enemies. Yeah. And I'd use flame shots to like cheese out like the brutes or the commanders sometimes if I was like, I don't know, feeling in that mood. And then literally the only other time was to deal with tick that list at the encampments because I had to get long shots and I never used the blow dart.
Yeah,
which actually would have been good in a few cases. It would have been good, especially in that Khan fight, to get a few of those guys to be hallucinating and stuff.
I think I only used it at the beginning when they first introduced it.
Yeah,
and
I wish I'd used it at the Khan fight. Thinking back on it,
yeah, I think it was like Straw Hats. They were there and they were like, I used it and I was like, okay, they're fighting each other. Never used it again. Another thing I never used. Did you ever use the distract thing?
No, I wish I had, but I felt like the stealth wasn't too difficult.
No, because I saw
I used the wind chime once, and then
another tick box and one.
Yeah, it's like kill 3 enemies, distract by wind chimes or whatever, and then there's a firecracker one, which I guess grabbed loads of people's attention. But I guess I didn't see the point because if you've got that, if there's enough enemies there that you want to distract them, then you probably are trying to go around them, and I didn't find that many situations where I wanted to go around and not kill them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was strange.
I got to the point where I
was on like medium difficulty or maybe hard. Like it wasn't the high. It wasn't the 2 highest. Put it that way.
I think I was on hard. I never even knew about the distraction thing until one time I was like, I'm going in a place, I use my, your ghost vision, your hearing thing, and you see something white on the wall and it's like, wind chimes. Wind chimes are full. What the fuck am I why do I need to collect a wind chime? And I Google it and it's like, wind chimes used for distraction, but
I literally never needed it.
I've got a distractor.
I never needed it. There was always grass or rooftops or ropes that I could be on. I just never needed it.
No.
Plus, you know what's a really good distraction? Sticking someone with a grenade.
Yeah, I was going to say like an explosive bomb or even a sword through the chest is very good distraction.
Good. Also, I will say, all of your assassinations, you're like coming up and you're like slash someone's throat or stab them in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Except if they're through a door, where you just ka-chunk, rip them through, like the whole door's gone, you're just there like...
It's like...
Sneak away.
Everybody
tends to look, but it's okay. Because you stealth killed them, so you just sneak.
Damn, he really is Samurai Batman.
Right? But like we said, he is because he doesn't kill anyone.
Exactly.
No one in that game died.
No one died. He's Samurai Batman and Batman doesn't kill.
One mission I found really fun, actually.
Go on.
with Yuna, where there's those 3 brothers or whatever it is, one of her loyalty missions, you have to go to a camp where they kept her as a kid, and you have to kill them without being detected.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that mission, because it's your first real time as like a ninja.
Yeah.
Like, it's your first real ninja mission. Get in, kill the guys, don't be seen.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that. Do you know what I think I would really also appreciate? Ubisoft, if you're listening, maybe put Sam Fisher in a Splinter Cell game.
Maybe. It might be something you should do.
I probably even wouldn't get it. No, I'm joking. But like, that's what everybody wants. And the whole time I was like, oh, this is proper ninja. This is proper Sam Fisher. Oh, never mind.
Oh.
I literally had that thought.
It's funny because on one side you have this game reminding you of Sam Fisher and bringing your hopes down. And on the other side you have Ubisoft putting Sam Fisher in anything but Splinter Cell.
Yeah. Every mobile game going. Also, what's funny is I really appreciate this ninja mission. It put me in mind of Sam Fisher. And I am Mr. Stealth is optional for this mission.
Yeah.
You know?
That's strange, right?
So...
Anyway, overall I enjoyed this game.
I'm going to go back to it.
I think I'm done with the game. Okay. Once I get a platinum, I usually am done with the game right there. And besides, there are a lot of games coming up, and I want to prepare for...
What's on your list next?
I want to play Vader Immortal.
Of course.
Still haven't played...
You need to play. I want to watch you play it. I want to play it afterwards.
I still haven't played Iron Man VR, even though I bought that, and I've just been sitting in my drawer forever.
You should play both of those,
don't know why I bought it.
I presume they're both fairly short, though.
Yeah, they're... I think
VR games tend to be shorter.
Vader Immortal's 3 episodes, and it was about £20, so I can't imagine it's very long. And Iron Man VR was £40, so again, pretty short. And the thing is, in the meantime, I'm going to want to produce a lot of content. I want to do a lot of Cyberpunk stuff. And I want to get some streaming done as well with the guys. I think they'll probably take me until the PS5 comes out.
Cool.
So there might be not enough time to play anything else.
Well, the Ghost Legends, whatever it is.
That as well.
That will jam.
I want to do that.
I feel like that's more like a Battlefront type thing. Battlefront's still on my PlayStation. I actually don't expect that we'll play much Battlefront. Ever. Which is not a negative. I just feel like we're in that. We've played a lot of it. With 3 years down, there's no more. What?
Squadron's gonna come out. Star Wars Squadron's gonna come out in October. Not you at all, but that's gonna be something that I play as well. It just reminded me of when you said Battlefront.
But, I think I'll probably play this again. I think the likelihood is I'm gonna go and complete the whole game.
Yeah.
Like all the side missions, all that stuff, and free all the outposts and stuff. Then I'll probably be playing the Legends with you, and then I'm going to come back and play it all black and white, all Kurosawa in Japanese.
Maybe by then they'll put a new game plus out where you get to keep all your armor.
That would
you
be
can
cool.
just play straight through the story with your armor.
I hope that would be cool. I think it'd be fun or cheesy to start with like full Gosaku's armor and stuff. But it could be good.
Yeah. I did ask very, very late last night. Let me have a look at what time it was. I think it was 3 in the morning when I got up to feed Isla.
Yeah.
I wrote, oh shit, we've got a fucking spoiler cast we want to do tomorrow.
Let me just ping everyone's phones.
Everyone's phones at 3 o'clock. Lawrence was even like, go to sleep. And I was like...
Yeah, Lawrence, why are you up?
But I wrote into the guys and I said, guys, we're going to do a spoiler cast after so long.
God damn, this game's so good looking.
It is so good looking. It's gorgeous. I remember that I made a dual 4K wallpaper for my laptop and whatnot in this whole like white field with the red leaves. Beautiful game. So good. And everyone wrote in. Thank you everybody for writing into our Discord server. Remember, everybody who's watching right now, you could join our Discord server, be part of the bros, write into our future episodes. Click that link in the description. Great place to be. Our first one is from Summer Dylan.
Okay. By the way, Dylan's puppy is so insanely cute.
God.
So insanely cute.
I don't like that he got the puppy now because I feel like he's competing with Isla.
He stole Isla's thunder.
Motherfucker, Dylan. Motherfucker.
She's bare cute as well. Something hilarious happened today. It was crap me
up. Summer Dylan goes, alright, so... I don't want to talk my full review of the game and the story because I'm lazy as fuck. And listening to the As Always podcast. You what?
How dare you?
You traitor. But I'll talk about the ending and why I chose to kill Lord Shimura.
I want to do it. I need to go back and do it myself. So
it's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard. So I chose to Shimura I chose to kill Shimura, I guess that means. To me, both endings are fucking so good, and both endings can be interpreted to go with any path you choose. I killed him because I think it's just fitting with Jin's character. I don't see that anyway.
It's to preserve his uncle's honour. I was torn. I was really torn. I'm like, I don't think Jin wants to kill his family. That's all he's really about. Yeah. He does love this guy. But I chose to kill him because I was like, I think Jin can justify that he's no longer doing things the samurai way, so he can keep him alive because he wants him alive.
I guess he could justify it that way.
Yeah, I think you would find in real life if this game had been real and you got to watch that real person, really maybe does it.
He goes, he's Jin Sakai, a man who sacrificed everything and his honor to become the ghost to save people. Him killing his uncle was the final horrible act, and letting go of the name Jin Sakai to fully become the ghost.
Yeah.
And I know that if you let him live, Jin puts on the ghost mask, which is really stupid. Why give us multiple endings when one is objectively correct to Jin's character? Would have been better if he puts on the mask in both endings and let the player interpret what the ending means to them. That's a very good point. It would have been better that way.
I feel that.
But yeah, I love the game overall, but I don't think it's one of the best games I've ever played. Maybe top 20. It's an amazing game, but I do not. But not anything special to me. I'm in the sort of same boat. I think it's great. But remember before we were saying it could be game of the year.
I don't think it's game of the year.
I don't think it's game of the year, but I think it's a very, very solid installment into the whole PlayStation franchise.
Absolutely, super great contender. Beats anything that's on the Xbox this current generation.
Generation, not franchise. That's what I meant.
It's definitely top 20. It's really, 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 really good. And because of the nature of the game, it's something you can keep coming back to or keep making content for, like I've been doing.
Yeah.
It did not give me even close to the, and that isn't a negative towards Ghost. It's a positive towards The Last of Us 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that was a much more emotionally impactful game for me, despite being like smaller, not having anywhere near the side content and all that stuff. So, I put it this way: I thought it would go Cyberpunk, Ghost of Tsushima was my thing. For right now, it's The Last of Us. I'm actually, if Cyberpunk can do something like what they did with Witcher with Geralt and Ciri.
Yeah.
If we can work something like that in, I think Cyberpunk could still be game of the year.
Yeah.
And I think it will be, and I think it will easily take. I mean, it's not even close. Cyberpunk is going to smash Ghost of Tsushima. As much as I love it, as I love the time period, the aesthetic, and all that stuff, I think Ghost is going to get wrecked when Cyberpunk comes out. And I'll be looking forward to making similar stuff, because what will be cool about Cyberpunk is you could go one way, I'll go the other, and we can have unlimited basically amounts of content to make and never tread on each other's toes.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. So okay, the Gamer Knight.
Yes.
Who's this? The game chatter.
I think it is. Yes, Game chatter.
Ghost of Tsushima is a brilliant way to end this gen for Sony. It borrows and implements several things that worked successfully in previous open-world games and improves on them. The sense of exploration in Ghost of Tsushima is very well done, and the mechanics like the guiding wind, my god, so good. Make the experience way more immersive without constantly looking down at the minimap and having to focus on and being able to focus on the gorgeous world the devs have worked so hard to build. Along with the birds guiding you to certain locations and foxes guiding you to shrines, this really makes the world feel alive. It's the exact same thing. And it's way better than following a marker as you come across things more naturally. Combat is satisfying, and with different stances, it meant for different enemies, and the standoffs, another thing I've really enjoyed doing. The stealth is also pretty good in Ghost. It feels much better than the recent AC games. Well, of course, this is basically AC Japan, but it's good.
But good, yeah.
The story is good, although a little slow in Act 1, but it picks up well in Act 2 and 3. I think Act 2 was my favourite overall.
Yeah, it was the more meaty one as well.
Yeah, and I like Act 2 and then the ending,
Yeah.
The ending is brilliant, and I chose to kill Shimura because I thought it was more fitting with the emotional ending. I do think quite a few side quests feel a bit repetitive in Ghost, like tracking this guy down, go to location X, kill a few Mongols, rescue the hostages, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the mythic tales are cool. Also not a fan of the bandit camps, thanks to AC Odyssey. Well, what? Maybe you just need to put 400 hours on it.
Yeah, if you fully play the game, like put a lot of time into it, you'll fully appreciate how great that game is.
Also not a fan of the bandit camps, thanks to AC Odyssey, with a checklist of things to do in order to finish it. It just takes away from the game, in my opinion. Overall, Ghost is pretty good. It's a pretty good game. Not anything special or new, but still a great way to wrap up the successful generation for Sony. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Lovely.
Agree and disagree. I do think it has some special things in. Something like that guiding wind, making the whole island feel alive. I think that's special. The combat's brilliant. I think 8.5 to 9. Somewhere in there. I agree, it's not going to... I don't think in 10 years' time we'll be talking about, oh my god, Ghost of Tsushima in the way we talked about The Last of Us, because the story lacks.
I think we'll just talk about it as a very cool Japanese-style game from Sony.
I'll say this, if we didn't get The Last of Us this year, I think this would have been a much, much bigger game. It would have been the exclusive of the year, and people would look back on it. But we did get The Last of Us, so it's not... I think The Last of Us is probably what gets reminded as the thing that crowned this generation.
Do you know what's really weird? Before going into this, I thought to myself, either PlayStation don't have a lot of confidence in The Last of Us, that they're putting Ghost of Tsushima so quickly afterwards, or they don't think they've got a good game on their hands with Ghost of Tsushima. They're putting it so close after Last of Us, they just want to kill it.
Yeah.
But it turned out both of them were fantastic games, and they spaced them out quite beautifully.
It was, I mean, by the time...
It's like they knew the pandemic was coming.
By the time Ghost came out, we were absolutely ready for a new game.
Yeah.
Everybody had played The Last of Us, and whether they loved it or hated it, had played it and said their piece.
Yeah.
So...
Damn. One thing as well that he mentioned here that we didn't mention, actually, which is crazy, how just running through the map anytime and getting utterly distracted by every fucking bird, every fox, every chirp, every little bit of fluff in the wind that would fly by, and no way could we stay on track. No way. You are far worse at this than I am, but even me, I was like, oh fuck, I can't do this.
Like, because you didn't have to look down at the mini-map to see where you were going and stuff, and because you weren't constantly having to swipe for the wind, because any particles were showing you sort of the way to go, plus the odd like wind gust, those white lines.
Every now and again,
It meant you just got to experience the world.
Yeah.
And I honestly, it's small, but it's a masterstroke. You really got to experience the world in a way we did not get to experience anything open world before in that same way. The Last of Us was great, but it was kind of a level grind. It was like a more open level grind. So like Doom, it was like you're here, you go from level 1 to level 2.
Yes.
With The Last of Us, it didn't feel that way, but you were on tracks.
Yeah.
There was only so much you could do, and there was a beginning point and an end point. With this, you could go anywhere you liked, but because the wind was telling you where you wanted to go, like you set the mission or whatever, you just go, you find a fox shrine, you follow it, you find a bird, you follow it, you climb a mountain, you go to a shrine, and you just make your way, and it's masterful. It's so good. I hope, like you said, more games do it.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Our next review here is written in by Diogo, and he says, Ghost of Tsushima, brilliant but lazy. It's quite bad, man. What's going on?
Okay.
He goes, loved the world and the gameplay. Combat felt satisfying. Again, he was up at 5 o'clock as well. All these dickheads were up at 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning. What an idiot would be up at that time, eh?
Only dickheads.
Loved the world and the gameplay. Combat felt satisfying, but was still a challenge on hard mode.
Yeah.
Every quest felt unique, and I especially loved the mythic ones. Act 1 was very okay. Didn't do much, but it slowly built up the characters, which was good. Then the Castle Kanada to Fort Shimura, it was great.
Yeah.
In brackets Act 2.
Yeah.
Act 3 was very empty and lacking compared to Act 1 and 2, but it meant I could wrap up the game quickly. Now for the lazy. So wrap up the game quickly. Now for the lazy. Offering the ghost or samurai gameplay options, but to have no impact in the story was dumb to me.
Totally agree.
That's true, actually, because I was trying to play as the samurai the whole way.
It felt like however you played the game or whatever those dialogue mission options were, that it didn't affect it.
It didn't. Yeah. And it was, you know how I said like I didn't use the blow darts and stuff like that? There was one point where I did use the blow darts. It was so late. I think it was like Act 3. And then you had that flashback of like where you're fighting with your uncle and your uncle says, we are samurai.
Yeah.
We don't do this. And I was like, oh, so...
Should I not use it then?
Should I not? I didn't know what I was doing, but I get that completely, Diogo. Down to small dialogue choices making you feel guilty for using ghost tactics when talking to Shimura.
I liked, because it's like
he was supposed to always be against those ghost tactics.
Yeah, and also it was like Jin's doing this despite everything because he needs to win. He wants to prioritize like saving people and stuff. So he's willing to suffer to. It kind of tears him apart to get there.
It's Batman. He's sacrificing his own image himself for the good of Tsushima. I played Samurai all the way. So the story when you did a ghost thing, when I didn't. So I've punished by be punished by Shimura. Felt completely off. And even more so when Jin talked about poison randomly and poisoned the whole camp. That's a good point, actually. If you play as Samurai, eventually he just poisons the whole camp and whatnot, and he never does anything before. That change to Ghost felt very out of left field, given how it is played as Jin. Yeah. Ending. I, of course, chose to kill Shimura. Of course, right?
Of course.
No. To fulfill his wish of an honourable death. It would have felt...
totally makes sense for the samurai gameplay, for sure.
Yes. It would have felt so weird for my Jin not to have done that. And the whole ride to fight built up the tension perfectly, which I loved. The ending hit me hard. Summary, great gameplay, beautiful open world, but story could have used some tweaking.
Yeah, totally agree. That's exactly what I said about games, and this is what I hope Cyberpunk gets right, is that I don't want games to be hundreds of hours long. I want the way you play it and the decisions you make to make for a unique experience in the same game. Yeah. You know, I want that if you play as the samurai, that you don't just go, oh, by the way, we're poisoning people, that Jin has to make a decision and for some reason, I don't know, that a samurai decides I'm gonna poison these people, right? And that at the end, like, maybe it's that's pushed you away from Shimura, but that alone, because Shimura's having a go at you for all of the way you're fighting, the whole thing, right? But if you're not doing that, he shouldn't be having a go at you, you know? Yeah. So, and if you choose to go across a bridge versus like
it's strange because sometimes it felt like they thought about things. So I didn't do all of the character quests, the extra thing. Some of them I left till the end. And some of them referenced that I'd killed the Khan. Yeah. And I was like, they thought about this and they put 2 dialogue options in here. Yeah. So when I kill the Khan, it changes over to that. That's smart. But then sometimes it's like they didn't think about it at all.
I know. It doesn't...
So strange.
It doesn't make sense, really.
And another... We said this about The Last of Us Part 2. It would have been great for them to have a choose your own ending thing, whether or not you kill Abby or whether you don't. Yeah. We said that at great length. Go check out our spoiler cast for The Last of Us Part 2 as well. Same thing there as well. If it had a meaningful ending and whatnot.
That's the kind of ending with Shimura. We should have had that thing with Abby when you have her head under the water, right? And it should make a meaningful, impactful difference. So like for Diogo, who played it as a samurai, it completely makes sense to kill your uncle then. That's the only thing Samurai Jin's doing. Yeah. Where he's never letting his uncle live in shame.
Yeah, be dishonoured.
Right. But Ghost Jin, which is how I played it,
it made sense. Preserve his life.
Right, it made sense for him. He's all about results, not method. Yeah. So he's all about keeping his family alive. So he absolutely would have done that, right?
Saving Tsushima, but killing my uncle. That
right, exactly. Sense. He did it for his family and for his island. So, and I wish that, like you say, that there was more of that in it. Where, or like if you do play as the ghost, then maybe you get that whole people are afraid of you, or do they? Or if you play as a samurai, people honor you. Or do they? Are they siding with the Mongols? Like, your decisions, the way you play and your dialogue options should affect the game. Don't get me wrong, it's still good. Still really enjoy it. I'm still going to make some content for it and all that stuff. But, I'm going to say Scrappy says, boys, as an aside, paragraphs.
There is one paragraph.
So this was going to be long, but I accidentally deleted it. All sad Pete.
Oh no.
Ugly Toby cry. So here's a short version. I thought the open world was great and had all the things that make a game immersive, as it made you want to get 100%. I think the game benefited from using the wind as a map. Oh yeah, for the map, because the minimap would have clogged up the screen. Totally agree. I thought most characters were really well written, and I enjoyed how each character interacted with Jin. The only character I didn't like was Lord Shimura because he felt very distant throughout the whole game, and he felt a bit lifeless. I feel like he could have benefited from character tales like Yuna had. That would have been cool. I felt like Ryuzo was the better villain because he felt like he wanted to kill Jin for betraying, because I felt like I wanted to kill him for betraying me. The Straw Hats were a pain to fight. In the ending, I decided to spare Lord Shimura, because I felt Jin wouldn't kill his only surviving family. I also felt Jin was fully the ghost by this point, so I didn't think he would do the act of honor. Yeah, I agree. Right. Shimura also didn't deserve an honorable death because he killed Kage, my horse. Yeah, I called mine Kage as well. Also, isn't it weird that we felt more about Kage than a lot of... I think the Shimura dilemma was way up there.
Yeah.
But because you got to choose.
Yeah.
If you just kill Shimura, I wouldn't have cared as much. But Kage being with you, mate, that got
big
me.
one.
That's up there. That's up there with Job. Overall, I felt this was one of the better games I've played this year, but it wasn't perfect. However, I still enjoyed the game. There could have been a few more character tales, and in my opinion, the character tales should have been compulsory, as I think the game would feel very flat if you didn't do them, as you wouldn't care if Norio, Yuna, or Ishikawa died in battle. So I think if you don't do any of them, I presume, one, they do die, I presume, because that's the way it worked in Mass Effect, and that's like a 15-year-old game.
I can't even remember.
And also, they probably wouldn't come and help you.
Yeah, so they definitely won't help you.
They won't help you.
Yeah.
And if you don't do enough, you don't get, like, there's a point where you're like, yeah, I've got this person's loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get there, then I think they die. That's the way it worked in Mass Effect. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, man. It seems like a bunch of people who are on the same sort of level we are, with like the sort of 8 out of 10-ish area.
It's really good, but it isn't great. It didn't like keep me up at night or any of that stuff. No. And but I will be coming back to it, and I'm probably not coming back to The Last of Us.
Yeah, well, Last of Us is a lot to do. I mean, you know it's going to be an emotional drain. You know it's going to take you out, and and it's a long game as well. It's hard to go back to that. Whereas this is a bit more fun, a little bit lighter than that.
Yeah, it's a lot lighter.
I will say this game did take the world over by storm
until Fall Guys came.
Until Fall Guys came, and then another game took us all by storm. And then
this game's so good looking. I really cannot believe it's playing on a PS4.
It's crazy, right?
Like
so crazy.
It looks that good, and then how smooth the fights are. And incredible. Really incredible.
Insane. Anyway, guys, that was our spoiler cast review of Ghost of Tsushima. You guys were asking for it. We're hoping to do this for every big major release that comes out. The next one's probably going to be long now. Cyberpunk's probably the next one, I think. Oh, wait, we'll do one for Marvel Avengers. My apologies. We'll do that for that, wasn't it?
First of all, how dare you? Second of all, the Cyberpunk one, I'm not sure if I would feel comfortable doing it without at least playing it 2 or 3 times. And that's going to take me a long time.
It's going to be a big game, I feel. And on top of that, there's going to be multiple ways to play it. It's going to be 7 months down the line, and we'll do a spoiler cast.
Not just ways to play it. Think about how much shiny stuff is in that game.
Woo, boy!
And if it is what I presume that it will be, those side missions and the stuff you do and like sort of grinding through your character model and the decisions that character makes is going to mean that you want to do a lot of the side content, or at least some of those missions for certain items, or to make sure you upgrade like your Renegade or Paragon bars or whatever. So I don't think it's going to be, okay, I played all the game once as like a netrunner, now I'll go through it as like a shooty style and just mainline the quest. No, you won't do that. I don't think you will. So it's going to take a while.
No, it will definitely take a while. I'm there with you. As I said, guys, thank you all for writing in. Thank you all for tuning in for this this spoiler cast version of the Ghost of Us. Ghost of Us. But melding all the games together here. At least that was quite smooth. The
Ghost of Us 2077.
The Ghost of Us 2077 right there. Thank you all for joining us.
I mean, in fairness, look, Cyberpunk 2077, it won IGN's PlayStation Game of the Year.
Fuck.
So, maybe. It's a good list, right?
Also, did you see that they wrote down, they did another award, it was like Best RPG of 2020, and they gave it to Cyberpunk. I was like,
it hasn't even come
not out yet!
It might not come out this year. So...
What? The funny thing is that Cyberpunk, they were just like, they've given us an award, what are we going to do? Just tell them to fuck off? So they were like, Jimmy, sit on a couch and just say thanks for the fucking award, would you?
Hey, hi, Jen. We're really happy to have won
I was like,
Best
oh my
PlayStation
god.
game. Yeah, even though we're not exclusive.
That's terrible. I can't believe I
My
did.
God.
That's so stupid. Anyway, as I said for the 7th time, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for writing in for our Ghost of Tsushima Spoilercast.
All of our bros that support us over on patreon.com/conversations.
Exactly.
You guys literally make this possible.
Yes, make this all possible. And we'll catch you guys hopefully in the next one. Hopefully if you're in gaming stream or something like that. I'll see you very soon.
See you next one.